Start with iPhones. This little guy, $25, $20 on Amazon, I think. These little clips that kind of like hold the phone. The main thing is to have two shots. You got a wide shot of maybe the host and the guest, and you've got maybe a shot of the guest. iPhone 13 or later, and make sure that they match. The resolution definitely matches. The frame rate definitely matches. AirPods, wireless. The AI tools around audio today for audio cleanup are fantastic, so you can get really good results with basic stuff like that. All right, what you want to stay away from is using this. XLR audio cables. These are balanced audio cables for professional equipment. This is a Shure SMP7 I'm running over USB-C. For video podcasting, if I have one light, it's definitely the lantern. With only one light, it could look like everyone's in a dungeon or in a pub or something. It's best to have key and fill and, a hair light for everyone. But if you only have one light, just hang a lantern across the middle of the table. If you shoot like in a generic conference room or something that has no visual story to it, try to use some kind of contextual reference of what the topic is about, your business is about. DaVinci Resolve, the free version, is more than capable for making your basic video podcast. If you have a Mac, I'm using Ecamm right now, which is sort of like a virtual production environment. The free version still lets you record locally on the machine, and you can record at least one of the cameras. We have some money now. I'm still going to try to shoot with iPhones. I'm going to try to go for 3. That'll be a significant improvement. Still have the wide shot, close-up of the guest, most likely, maybe of the host, maybe an overhead shot. Maybe it's something technical. Maybe you're doing a little show and tell, right? So you have a shot coming down like that. I wouldn't get like a cinema camera, or like an FX3, which is what I'm shooting on right now. You might want to buy a DSLR if you want to take photos, but if you're going to make video and you're going to make a lot of video, you want to buy the corporate camera. My video podcast had like $25,000 worth of gear because I do video production, right? Professionally. The stuff just adds up. Lenses, cables, everything else. Tube lights for hair lights behind you. CD stands and sandbags. More microphones, arms, a mixer, gaff tape, everything like that. Little production design, little elements, cool wood tables. It's really about everything fitting, right? So like if you have $20,000 worth of camera gear, you're going to want a real editor. You're not just going to want to like multicam cut it in real time and just kind of hope for the best. You want to get the best reaction shots, maybe trim things out and have it not be so obvious. Maybe have some decent graphics, maybe run in like a little video package in the middle. You really want to do a professional, let's say $20,000 plus worth of stuff, and you're not already making other video and you don't have anything at all, you'd have to do a really high-end podcast at least a couple times a month for a couple of years instead of vending it out. I think one of the most interesting things that I've heard from people who are podcasting and video podcasting is whether or not they're content marketing or doing lead gen. So sales, sort of like hunting versus farming. I've heard multiple people say, we have a podcast just because, we basically invite our potential prospects on our show, and it's, potential lead generation, and it's, a pretty direct sales tactic, and it's effective. And then I see other people using sort of like what I would term higher forms of leverage in content marketing. As things get noisier, I think what's left is faces and places. I think scripted anything is going bye-bye. If it's scripted, why don't I just get ChatGPT to do it? And why don't I just get a fake avatar to do it? It's like when it needs to be a real person in a real place, a real face in a real place. There's a lot of it has to do with being across the table from each other, I think, where there's a certain kind of social pressure of like not getting out, you don't have your phone out. You really have to engage with people. And, it takes 5-10 minutes to warm up. And then all of a sudden, it becomes really conversational. And invariably, I've seen, sort of like the magic starts to happen and like new ideas come out, new little threads get pulled on, and it gets really, really, really interesting. So it also creates lots and lots of deliverables in asset management. So if you shoot multicam for hours, you get a lot of footage and a lot of opportunity to make, social deliverables or anything else. Your basic core communications video, 101 is like almost everything can be boiled down to story and supporting images. So that's often an interview and B-roll, right? Sometimes it's a voiceover and graphics. Sometimes it's stock B-roll instead of something contextually relevant, like, to that specific person or company. Video podcasting is like the A side of the cut if you're an editor. It's the interview, it's the story, it's the human story, it's the writing part that isn't visual, or visual primarily. If I was, for example, doing a day of corporate video production at some company, and we're just like, well, how much of it should we use? We have access to an executive for half a day, let's say. I would try to shoot, 4 interviews in 4 different locations around 4 topics, because the B-roll is easier to get, right? The story is the hard part to get. And an extemporaneous, contextually variable, but authentic conversational story is very effective and has a lot of long-term value. And for those who have consumed a lot of video podcasts in the last couple of years, you might notice that increasingly there aren't these lengthy intros kind of going over the host or the show or who the guest is. They often seem to start mid-conversation now. A conversational outline is what you really need because by definition, they're not scripted. Reflective listening, which is a particular kind of communication technique that I actually learned when I did social work, comes in handy if you're producing these things or hosting them. Different ways of sort of reflecting back to a person what they just said and teasing a conversation forward. Basically, this like thread pulling. All the really good video podcasts and the marketplace leaders are good at this. They sort of like follow the conversation a little bit. Someone says something, and it may be off topic, or it may be a new topic, or unexplored, or unexpected. Diary of a CEO, which is really, really good conversational interviewing with business leaders and other people. Mel Robbins, more like personal development. She's very good. And Joe Rogan's sort of this like catch-all thread puller. He was a comedian, and his content is kind of all over the place. But he's definitely a market leader and very good at just pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling for hours. Please comment about what else I should do. Any other video topics you'd like to cover, or anything about video podcasting in particular.